On a day when the skies promised only adventure and dreams, a journey turned into an epic challenge for Kate and her little Jane. Amid the anticipation of magical days at Disney World, they were thrust into an unimaginable battle for survival when the unpredictable erupted in the skies, challenging them unexpectedly and overwhelmingly. Before we dive into the story, don't forget to subscribe to our Unbelievable Lives channel and leave a like. It was a sunny day when Kate, a dedicated mother, and her 5-year-old daughter, Jane, arrived at the airport to embark on their first trip together to Disney World. This journey was infused with excitement and anticipation, as it meant much more than a simple vacation. For Jane, it was the realization of a dream, to meet her favorite characters and immerse herself in the magic of Disney. For Kate, it was an opportunity to provide her daughter with moments of happiness after a turbulent period. Kate's life had undergone painful twists after the recent divorce. She struggled to balance work and raising Jane alone, trying to fill the void left by the absence of her father. Jane, a child full of energy and curiosity, missed her father's presence and sought solace in special moments with her mother. Kate knew she was a good mother, but was all the love she gave to Jane enough to replace the absence of her father? She wondered if it was enough for her daughter, if those beautiful moments they spent together were enough for her to feel loved and protected. She yearned to give the best to her daughter and longed for a sense of accomplishment. For Kate, Jane was the world, and she would do everything in her power to make her daughter happy. The excitement of the trip was palpable as mother and daughter walked through the airport. Jane, with sparkling eyes, was dressed in comfortable clothes, eager to meet Mickey. They bought Disney-themed stickers to put on their luggage, preparing for the adventure that awaited them. As they strolled through the airport, Jane couldn't contain her excitement and danced to the sound of local musicians, attracting the attention of other travelers who smiled in admiration at her contagious joy. The boarding time arrived, and mother and daughter were welcomed by a warm crew. The plane, a portal to Jane's dreams, began to take off slowly, eliciting a mix of emotions. Kate, with the responsibility of ensuring Jane's safety, helped her pay attention to the safety instructions while she watched in fascination as the plane gained altitude. Up there, their anxiety only grew. They couldn't wait to land and reach their destination. However, we know that not everything goes as planned. Life can be relentless and challenging. Before we continue, have any of you had a dream like this? Leave it in the comments. Back to the story. The joy of the trip was abruptly interrupted when a sudden and fierce storm emerged. The previously clear sky turned into a sea of dark clouds, and the plane began to be shaken by turbulence. Oxygen masks fell, lights flickered, and panic spread among the passengers. Jane, frightened, grabbed her mother's hand, unable to comprehend the situation. She had been on a plane before, but she had never experienced such a terrifying moment. Holding her mother's hand was a natural act. She trusted her mother to keep her safe and protected. The storm was relentless, and the plane, struck by lightning, began to lose altitude uncontrollably. Desperation grew as passengers cried out for help. Kate, trying to calm her daughter, held her tightly while flight attendants struggled to instruct passengers on the correct use of oxygen masks. Everyone was in panic. People prayed and hugged, thinking it might all end there. The despair was evident, but Kate kept control for herself and her beloved daughter. It was in this moment of absolute chaos that the crew realized that an essential maintenance compartment needed to be accessed to regain control of the aircraft. The challenge was immense. Access to the compartment could only be achieved by a small child through a narrow opening inside the plane. Facing an unprecedented crisis, the crew looked among the passengers for someone who could venture into this restricted space. Then, Kate raised her hand. With tears in her eyes, but knowing it was necessary, she pointed to her daughter, Jane. With a lump in her throat, she offered to help, even in the face of imminent danger. Flight attendants explained to the mother and daughter the urgent situation. Jane, despite her fear, felt determination growing within her. With support and encouragement from her mother, she prepared to enter the maintenance compartment. Kate, proud and anxious, hugged her daughter, conveying courage and love before she disappeared into that narrow opening. Jane, armed with only a small flashlight, crawled through the tight space. Her heart pounded, and fear pulsed with every breath. Guided by the crew's voice through the radio, she began connecting vital cables, following precise instructions. Jane was smart. She had always been an extraordinary child. She understood the importance of the task and was determined to do everything correctly. Jane listened to her mother's voice, calming and keeping her focused. Kate, in turn, prayed in her thoughts for her daughter to return safely from that small compartment. Suddenly, a noise was heard. Kate's heart raced. She started calling her daughter's name. She needed to know her daughter was okay. Jane, with a calm voice, said she was fine and had just dropped the flashlight. Meanwhile, inside the plane, the tension was almost palpable. All eyes were fixed on the cockpit, where the crew anxiously awaited Jane's courageous actions. With each cable connected, a collective sigh of relief echoed in the cockpit until, finally, the last wire was placed in the right spot. The plane lit up, systems came back online, and a collective exhale filled the cockpit. Jane emerged from the compartment, her determination contrasting with the fear still lingering in her eyes. Kate, moved and relieved, hugged her daughter tightly, exuding pride. The aircraft, now stabilized, continued its journey to safety. Everyone on the plane applauded. They knew that the young girl had saved everyone's lives. When they landed, the entire airport united in applause and overflowing emotions. Everyone wanted to meet the little heroine who saved the plane. Jane was greeted with praise and gratitude, a true celebrity for her extraordinary feat. The airline acknowledged her bravery with a surprising gesture, tickets for an entire year, and insisted on covering all expenses for their stay and Disney park tickets. And so, mother and daughter, united by the unbreakable bond of heroism, set off for more adventures, each step narrating the story of a brave child who became a symbol of hope and strength for the world. If you enjoyed this touching story of courage and love, don't forget to subscribe to our Unbelievable Lives channel. We'll bring you new videos with wonderful stories every week. Leave a like on this video and share it with someone. See you in the next story. Until then.